are 4 lies that you're going to be told when somebody comes to your house and tries to sell you a security system. Why do we have 47-year contracts? Well, you might need the system serviced. And if we stretch it out over that long period of time, you get a really good interest rate. It's only 30% interest. It's a really good deal. So do you really need a long-term contract? So they'll tell you need long-term contracts in order to deal with service-related issues. The truth of the matter is you need a long-term contract so they can recoup all the money they spent flying out people from LA or flying out people from Utah to come stay in your town, stay in a hotel, and come knock on your door in order to sell you a security system. There's about 1,000% markup in a lot of these security systems. The average security system for an average American home goes out the door these days for about $750. That does not include monitoring, that does not include video or all those things. But it's ridiculous for somebody to tell you that you need a long-term contract. Most local reputable companies will never even put you in a contract. You should be month to month to be able to cancel whenever you want. One main reason is technology changes so fast that by the time 5 years is up, your security system is probably out of date anyway. Yes, ma'am. Our system will definitely keep somebody from breaking into your house. That's the next lie. A security system will not keep someone from breaking into your home. In fact, the FBI, go look at their statistics. Nowadays, 40% of break-ins are done during the day when people are home. And about 60% of those break-ins end up in either death or injury to the homeowner. It's a really serious problem. So for a company to tell you that a security system is going to keep somebody from breaking into your home is absolutely false. You will find that those homeowners that are prepared for break-ins also have some type of personal defense inside their home to take care of themselves as well. Now, there's an option for video that's really important. Most of the systems that are sold nowadays, and you can look at, I'll name a couple of companies, you can look at SimpliSafe or Vivint or ADT of those systems. A lot of those companies do not have an early warning system, meaning that the perimeter security around their house is not equipped with something to get you out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning to let you know that someone is trying to get into your home. In fact, the new spotlight cameras, which we'll highlight more in some other videos, not only have lights to notify if there's someone outside and turn on or off to scare them, they even come equipped with red and blue flashing lights to make the intruder think that there's something more efficient going on. Alarm.com has some great advancements that we'll share more in our artificial intelligence series. But let's get back to talking about regular security. In fact, most really advanced security systems now don't cost any more than something you can pick up at Best Buy or at Sam's Club or Costco, but they're equipped with analytics, which is artificial intelligence that will literally, ding your phone when you're at work, or if you're in bed asleep, you got a little panel that can sit beside your bed. It'll ding you. It'll let you know that there's somebody outside your house. It can tell the difference between a person, a car, an animal, and it will let you know, hey, you have a potential break-in coming. That is the most important piece that a lot of people are missing today. And I'm sorry, it's just a lie when somebody tells you that a security system inside your house is going to keep somebody from breaking in. It's just simply not the truth. We've been trained so good by DTA, and yes, ma'am, we use the latest and greatest technology. Okay, so that's the next lie that is perpetuated by the security company to their salespeople. And to be very frank with you, I know how this works. When I first got in the security business 22 years ago, I worked a little bit with ADT, and I found out very, very quickly that just was not the truth that I was being told. The salespeople really don't know any different, right? But here's how the big companies negotiate their security contracts for the next year. Before they send out these thousands of people to come knock on your door, they've pre-purchased and pre-negotiated hundreds of thousands of systems, sometimes hundreds of thousands of systems with the technology that is affordable. They've negotiated the rate. In most cases, they've gotten the cheapest door sensors they can get because they cost them $6 as opposed to $25. A lot of times those doors and window sensors are not even encrypted. Here's what is amazing to me. If you go to Amazon right now, you go to Amazon and you look up the system that we carry, The system that's on Amazon is already end of life. Like, we don't even sell it anymore. But the big companies have pre-bought hundreds of thousands of these things. Whatever they don't sell during the summer, they dump it on places like Amazon and eBay. So when a guy comes to your door and he's trying to sell you a system, be savvy enough to Google it. If you really want to listen to him and you want to get into a contract, be savvy enough to Google the system, Google the model number, see what it is, and find out from the manufacturer's website if they're out of date. Now, a lot of times, these big companies like ADT and Brinks, they won't even tell you what system they're selling because they private branded it themselves. Be very, very leery when somebody tells you they've got the latest technology. Oftentimes, it just is not true. Yes, ma'am. When your alarm goes off, the police are definitely going to show up. Look, an alarm company or a security company cannot guarantee you how fast the police are going to show up. In fact, they can't even guarantee how fast they're going to call the police based on what their call volume is. So if there's an area like we had Dallas, Texas, we had hundreds of customers in Dallas, Texas. A thunderstorm came through, set off all these home and commercial security systems. They couldn't even answer all the calls. So this is the truth of the matter, and I'm going to tell you what needs to happen. Best thing a security system can do for you is to call the police when you're not at home or you're on vacation, you're out of town. At least then you stand a chance of somebody showing up within a reasonable period of time before everything in your house is taken out of there. But the first responder to your situation, the first person who has the ability to deal with an intruder is you. That's why with our company, we also teach personal defense as well. There is absolutely no way that a policeman is going to show up to your house quick enough to deal with any incident that can happen inside your home. That's why that statistic I talked about earlier, 60% of the break-ins end up in death or injury to the homeowner because, people who come into your home at 2 o'clock in the morning do not have good intentions. Be prepared, be ready. Don't let somebody knock on your door and sell you the system. Be proactive. Sit down, look at who the options are. I highly recommend a local company or a company that's not a big box store or somebody who's an individual dealer because they're likely not going to put you in a long-term contract. If they do go somewhere else, they're likely not going to lie to you because they haven't been trained by somebody who just wants to send a bunch of kids out knocking on the door. Be smart, be safe, and do us a favor. Like and subscribe.